Hi math friends, today we're going to look at how to calculate percents of numbers. And in this table in particular, we're looking at a survey where teachers chose their favorite day of the week. So one teacher said Monday was their favorite day of the week, 15 teachers said Tuesday was their favorite day, and so on. We want to know what percent of each of these goes to each day of the week. All right, so for this, we will be using a calculator. So I'll be using my pop-up calculator here. You can use a handheld one. The first thing I need to do is I need to find the total. I can't find a percent without a total. So I'm going to add all of these together. 1 plus 15 plus 12 and so on. 12, 21. I want to be really careful when I add these to make sure that I'm adding everything properly. So I get 127 is my total. So I'm going to write that down here just so I keep that in mind because I will be needing that. Now to find a percent, I'm going to take my number that I have, 1, I'm going to divide it by my total. 1 divided by 127. I'm guessing this is a low percent because 1 is a small portion of 127. Do 1 divided by 127. And I get 0.0078. The other thing I'm going to do with a percentage, and I'm going to write it on here, we should have this in our notes, is I will then multiply that by 100. Now, we know that means to move the decimal twice to the right. I'm going to use my calculator here, times 100. And the directions on this are we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So 0.787. I'm going to write that down. 0.787. So the 8 is in the hundredths place. And when I round, I want to make sure that I look like this. Remember, 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So my percent here is 0 and 79 hundredths percent, or 0.79%. A very, very low percentage of teachers like Monday the best. We're going to do the same thing for each other day. So I'm going to go to Tuesday. We got 15 out of 127. And then we're going to multiply that by 100 to get our percent. So as we work through this, we're going to follow this pattern as we go along. When you're comfortable, go ahead and pause this and then check through how you're doing just with the rest. Okay? So we will work through these together. But yeah, at any point, feel free to pause and then check. So I'm going to divide and then multiply by 100. 11.811. So 11.811. I'm going to double check that I wrote that number properly. Okay. So I'm going to round. I've got my hundredths place. And then I look here. This is 4 or less. I let it rest. 11.81%. We can probably guess based on the numbers that we see that we'll have higher or lower percentages as we go along. So I have a 12. I'm guessing that 12 for Wednesday. I'm guessing Wednesday will be a slightly lower percent than Tuesday because it's got 12 people compared to 15. All right, we'll do the same thing. 12 divided by 127 times 100. So we left all the space here in this percent column so you can show your work. So I got 12 divided by 127. And then we multiply by 100 to get into a percent. 9.448. 9.448. And, we like to double check to make sure that we wrote that properly. 448. Okay. Now we're going to round 4. We look at the 8. The 8's going to raise the score. 5 or more raise the score. So 9.45%. All right. And we'll do the rest just the same way. 21 divided by our total, 127. The nice thing is once we get that total, we don't need to keep finding it. But I do like to write it down there. Okay, multiply by 100, and we'll see what our percent is. So I do get to use my calculator. I'm guessing that's more than what it was on Tuesday with the 11%. So 21 divided by 127 and times 100. I get 16.535. So that 3 is going to look at the 5, and that's going to go up. 5 or more raises the score, 16.54. So that is our highest percent so far. So some teachers really like Thursdays. All right, Fridays, whoa, 47. That's much higher than we've had so far. I'm guessing this is going to be a much higher percent then. As I'm looking, I don't think 47 is halfway to 126, so I think it's still below 50%. These are things that we think about while we are calculating. Let's go ahead and grab our calculator again. 47 divided by 126, and then times 100 to get the percent. 37.301. So that 1 is going to keep it where it is, 37.30. Now, here's the other thing. When I have 30, I don't need to show that 0. 37.3%, I can stop there. All right, now I go to Saturday. Saturday reads 21. 21 out of 126 times 100. Now, didn't we already do 21? So if you're noticing that, yes, we did, right? 121 was also here on Thursday. If I do this, I'm going to get the same thing that we did for Thursday, 16.54%. All right. Last one, I got Sunday. Sunday is 10. 10 teachers like Sunday the best. 10 divided by 127. And then we multiply by 100. Okay, this one we'll have to work out. We don't have 10. We do have 12. 12 is 9.45, so I'm guessing it's a little bit less. All right, so 10 divided by 127 equals, multiply by 100. And yes, that was a little bit less than our 12. 7.87. 4 is not going to raise the score. 4 is going to let it rest. 7.87. 7.87%. All right, so there's a good example of this done, and you got more practice to do. Do your best. You got this.